Hello, everyone, and welcome to another book review of mine. Um, this is the third one, and this time I'd like to talk about two books, another two books. This one, obviously, right here is called Uzumaki, The Art of Naruto. It's kind of like the OG version of like the Naruto style, and it's the first book, the first art book from Naruto, and I really dig what Kishimoto style used to look like in this one. Um, so yeah. Um, yeah, this is the older one, but it's my favorite. I love how the style was coming along. Um, I think Kishimoto started to use a lot more thin lines later in the series, and it seemed to also go a little bit more realistic. Of course, this one is a little bit more shonen-esque. It looks a little bit more stylized, yet it had some good shading and everything like that too when it first started off. I don't exactly know what happened. I think maybe the deadlines got to him, but this level of expressiveness kind of went away for a more serious tone over time. And also the line quality, I think, had gone down. Um, like the line whips, even though that they're not that dramatic in this one, you still definitely tell that he's not using a lot of thin lines altogether. I think that it just looks a little bit more bold. Um, with these older illustrations. Um, but yeah, also really dig the little part in the back of this book that basically demonstrates Kishimoto's technique with the front of this book. I'm not sure how many other illustrations he did it with, but basically he would take a copy of it of his inked illustration after he had worked through the stages and basically would use the pencil on its side to create, shading. And then after a couple different tries with that, he would basically scan that one into the computer and color the one that had the pencil shading on it that he thought was appropriate for the image. And I don't know, I don't think he does that anymore. I really think that's really unique, and I don't know of many other mangaka, if any, um, who even do that. So that's a really cool technique. Um, If you guys know of anyone else who does that technique, please leave it in the comment section below. Because I like to know about these type of things, these type of cool techniques that people try out, work really well. Um, yeah, I need to get the other art books. I will eventually, but I really like the way the style used to look. So definitely want to talk about this book a little bit more. Um, yeah, yeah, the characters had a lot more expression going on with the way they were dressed. A lot more going on with their outfits and whatnot that made them more unique looking to each other. When they got older, they kind of started looking more like the standard job, I would say. Naruto, he didn't wear the headband anymore. He, had the Hokage thing going on. As they progressed, they just kind of felt like they fell into a mold, I'd say. Like when you're young, you kind of want to express yourself. And as you get older, I guess, I understand that go out, get a job, you do whatever, and you start to kind of go into this mold that society needs you to be or wants you to be. And that's what it looked like. All the characters had kind of become, even like Rock Lee and like, well, just about everybody. Gaara, even. Gaara looked very standard. Everyone grew up and looked like they got really boring. But I guess that works also if you're gonna do like a Boruto spinoff. That means that gives like Boruto and those guys like a chance to shine, I guess. Oh yeah, this used to be like my favorite. was this and a Neji one, I believe. But one of these used to be like one of my favorite images to look at when I was younger. Um, I saw this and I was like, man, look at how well that's drawn and how dynamic the poses are. You know, of course, it's not necessarily that dynamic, but that's what I thought when I was a kid, when I was younger. Um, just love the movement in the image. Um, I noticed that Kishimoto and I guess a lot of other people use a lot more thin lines when they do like they're colored. Man, this is old. I saw this in that Shonen Jump when Naruto was, I think it was either getting introduced or this is the second or third chapter, I forget, but it's interesting to see. This is like the one of the main images that made you probably believe it was gonna be something similar to like how Dragon Ball or like One Piece is, but this doesn't. This type of thing doesn't actually happen. I mean, maybe in fights, but it doesn't. It's not this goofy or whatever. Oh, fly on birds. But I just really dig the older style. The level of experimentation as a person hones their skills and kind of finds their way creating images for their series is very interesting to me. But anyway, get through this part of the book so I can get to the next book. Started in 6 minutes. I believe also Kishimoto only really uses. Oh yeah, this is the part where I was talking about the technique with the pencils and stuff like that. But I think he only really uses Copic markers. I'm not sure if he delves into anything else, but it's a very cool technique. And of course, you know, they have the little. This is basically the whole how he made the image. In the back part, they go over, you know, what he was thinking about or what he thinks about each image, you know, that's in the book, that was picked out, placed in the book. So yeah, this is a really dope book. If you haven't gotten it, you know, already, definitely get it if you enjoy this style. Whether or not you got the new ones or not, you know, definitely get this one. It's still worth it, and it's really cool, like a time capsule to look back in time and see how much the style has progressed. Next book is Dream Worlds by Hans Bacher. Well, not by, but yeah, by Hans Bacher. And this is basically a book about Hans Bacher. He is a animation art director for Disney, has been for about like 20 years. And basically in this book, you'll basically find a lot of artwork for, you know, for designing for designing images for production animation. Um, so I believe what that is, you know, when you're working on a movie before anything gets finalized and okayed to be, you know, the set of the castle or the location or whatever, someone has to come up with the visual style for that thing and also start designing the locations and the backgrounds and such. And there's a team of artists who go out and they reference these different things from the real world, and they basically start making some mock-ups of different things, and after they do a lot of different paintings for the backgrounds and whatnot like that, those things get greenlit, and they go from there. And then, you know, nowadays people start building 3D models and all these other different type of lighting mock-ups and whatnot of different things like that. This book is freaking amazing though. Like the amount of detail that's gone into each one of these backgrounds, the amount of mood and feeling that goes into it is definitely palpable. It's like amazing. Um, this person has directed films or has art. This book has archives such as movies from Lilo and Stitch to Beauty and the Beast, and like also um, Mulan. So it's definitely a great book to own. It has, information on, usage of good composition, rough layouts, and stuff like that, um, experimental animation styles, different uses of color, how to do good research, and actually, you know, like collect references and how his references were collected back in the day. Um, it's definitely interesting. I'm definitely glad that I can like print my references out or just keep them on the computer. But it's also awesome to see, what they were doing in the past to have them keep their references in these giant books. It's like but yeah. Also shot choice, shot choice, camera work and whatnot like that. Um, it's just a great book. If you combine this book's knowledge with like framed ink, you'll have a pretty extensive amount of things to research and study and practice from. Obviously, I believe some of it is reiterated, but it's awesome to see the different types of tools and techniques you can take advantage of to create these, different styles of images that convey a different type of mood or, you know, um, evoke a certain emotion. Also, use of values, color, um, and I, when you look at this book, I don't know, I definitely feel like, I don't know, not intimidated, but I definitely feel like I need to do a lot more work like this. I need to do a lot more practice, a lot more studies and whatnot. But of course, this is years worth of work, but you know, this is definitely something you'd want for yourself. You want a story like this. You want a story and you want these really well detailed locations or set key moments in time where things are supposed to happen. And you definitely want to have a good reference point that you've drawn or inked or painted up that you can look back at. Of course, no, I'm not showing both pages because this is a really long book. Um, and it'll be a really long time sliding back and forth. Um, but I'm pretty sure if you're going to get the book, you probably definitely should get this book. I hope that you're seeing something in here that's really cool. Um, also love how he also has like some of these stagnant like images. Like I forget exactly what type of image they're called right now. I'm reading a book um, right now called Making Comics. Uh, but there's a certain type of image that doesn't necessarily have to have a character or anything moving in it. It could just be a random background, kind of like this. And they're being used a lot more nowadays. They're being used in all types of media. In manga, they're used a lot. In comics, they started to use them finally. And in movies, they've been around for a while. It's like it doesn't have to do anything with the scene necessarily, but it definitely gives you a point of reference in time um, of something. But yeah, love the backgrounds in here. They're really just nice to study. And also, everything in here that has written text is worth reading as well. The amount of learning you can do from some of these people. This guy and his colleagues who worked at Disney is just amazing. It's a lot of different experimentation here, experimental animation. You can definitely find these books on Amazon. I found Naruto is probably still being sold in like Barnes and Nobles, but probably find it cheaper online if you haven't already gotten it. And you can definitely find Dream Worlds on Amazon. this is probably all I want to show for right now. Well, that's the end of the book, basically, right there, anyway. But definitely, if you're looking to create anything that has like any serious production design, I don't care if it's comics, you know, short animation, anything that you think, you want to get good at production design, stuff that goes on before things get finalized and whatnot like that, production sketches, everything like that. Definitely want to probably cop this book and, read some of the guidance and check out some of the awesome images in this book. And don't forget about this book as well. This book is still awesome, and it's definitely worth checking out if you want to actually study some of Kishimoto's design choices and art for Naruto before the change. All right, I'll be making a lot more of these videos later. Until then, I'll see you all next time.